What is up, entrepreneurs? Welcome to the Friday Live Helpcast with me, your hostess, the mostess, Diana Gladney. So pumped, proud, pleased, and excited to be here with you. Hope you got your good old cup of Joe. Okay, maybe you got a good old cup of Jane. Whatever it is that floats your boat or finds your lost remote. Hope you got you something to drink, something to make you feel all the warm and fuzzies. It's almost the holiday time. I had a little girl the other day say, happy holidays, and just randomly. And it just warmed my soul, okay? And I was like, you know what, little sister, it is a happy holidays indeed, okay? Merry Christmas, forget Thanksgiving, because all we do is eat, okay? All we do is eat too much and sit around and be merry. You know why you're merry? Because it's almost Christmas time, huh? It's almost Christmas time. Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving Day sales and stuff, probably already started for a lot of places. So what I have in mind today, in addition to whatever questions that you guys have coming in through the chat, we're going to dive in. We're going to answer questions as usual, as it is here with the Helpcast. And we're going to go through some of the tussles in your brain when it comes to dealing with Black Friday sales, what to buy, what should you get, what kind of stuff, how do you upgrade your set, and hashtag all the things, in addition to whatever questions that you guys have. So like I said, if you got your good old cup of Joe or Jane, may the Lord bless you and keep you always, because we getting into this thing. So hope y'all enjoy the live stream. I guess we'll have to do something, make it a little bit more Christmasified for the intro as we get into these holidays here. Out here in these real and digital streets. Let's see, we got Kombucha cutting the rug out here in the chat. Good to see you, Kombucha. Saying happy Friday, Diana. Hope you're doing well on this Good Friday. Indeed, I am, and it is indeed a Good Friday. Any Friday that you wake up, it is indeed good. Somebody may try to spoil it just get a little judo chop to the throat. That's all you need. That's all you need. Evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing good. Good to see you, the Alan Jones Creator Diary. Good to see you. Glad you're here, Alan. Said I'm putting up the Christmas tree this weekend. I cannot wait. Literally was in the store and they were, I'd like, wherever the food and stuff cut off at. I think it's I was in Target. Whatever the food and stuff cut, I was like, nope, all of this is Christmas. I said, I'm here for it. Stock it up to the ceiling. At the very top of the rafters, it was Christmas trees. I said, this is what I like to see. This is what I like to see. I think I'm gonna do it up this year for Christmas decorations and whatnot. It just sends the right message. All right. So I'm thinking for this week for live streaming of the channel and whatnot. So Black Friday, let's talk about it. Everybody's getting their dollars ready. I'll be honest with you. The things that you don't think to get are the things that you should add to your cart immediately. Immediately. Let me give you the rundown. If you guys know from my best-selling book, fun fact, I wrote a book and it held bestseller list for about close to 8 weeks. Shout out to me. And it wasn't in like underwater basket weaving or however people do stuff like that. It was legit. So I talk about the ALVAS hierarchy of investments, ALVAS. It's an acronym. First up on that list, first thing you need to be looking at for Black Friday, accessories. Accessories. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You got a USB-C cable for your audio interface connecting to your computer, get another one. Usually you can get those sets that have like 2 or 3 in them. At least add it to the cart. So accessories, you need AAA, AA batteries for those things that still take them. Get them. You know why? Because most things don't, and that's the one thing that you forget. And get a smoke detector battery, because don't nobody want to hear that during the video, okay? I see some of y'all out there got that beep in your fix it. Another one that's going to be on my list for sure, these joints right here, USB-C specifically, because my USB-A one of them went out. And so just having these, because they basically like little dongles or whatever, but USB-C to SD card readers, almost a given always. Salute. I was about to say salute, like how some of our Spanish brothers and sisters say it, saying Words for Change podcast, saying happy Friday. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Let me know in the chat, what are you picking up for the after Thanksgiving Day sales? What is on your list? Do you have a big purchase or not? Like I said, first things first, accessories. I'm even going to throw in there the stuff that you don't think is going to go out that probably you should have a backup for. Again, 2 is 1, 1 is none. XLR cables also on the list, because fun fact, after I don't know how many years, my last one that I used for this desk, you would think it's in the Elgato LP arm, which is another accessory, which I think this is probably one of the best buys I haven't ever really talked about past it coming out. The Elgato LP, they did a fantastic job with this. Super simple, but it's the good things that are done right. It's done simple. But XLR cables added to the list. These are not the sexy buys. These are not like, oh, I'm getting a camera, I'm getting a lens, I'm getting a big monitor or TV or whatever. This is the stuff that you wish you had after the sales are over. XLR cable, just a little twist in the cable for this to go around through the thing. It got a fray somehow in one of the wires. The XLR cables are super durable. That's going to be something else on my list, because why not? It's something that is probably going to be on sale, slightly discounted. If you don't have one of those browser based tracking systems, Amazon has their stuff, but I've used Honey for a long time and they've done me well. And so brands that I usually buy from, I'll track and watch that price. And so sometimes it's been real shady the last few after Thanksgiving Day sales. It's been shady for a minute, where the price will go up. Maybe let's say last month, And now that price is starting to slightly come down. It'll probably spike up, or is spiked up temporarily. And then it'll drop down to the normal price next week or after Thanksgiving, which I think is next week or something like that. And it's been real shady. So not everything is going to be a deal, but what you need to watch for that I love, a couple things. There are a few creators on TikTok and on Instagram. You should probably, the algorithm will probably throw them in your feed, that they always share additional codes for Amazon purchases and stuff like that. Crock pots, rice cookers, recrispifiers, whatever those things are called, air fryers. I call it the recrispifier, because whatever it was that was crispy, you can put it in the refrigerator. It's not crispy anymore. Hello, fried catfish fillets. And then you put it in the recrispifier and magic happens. So those kind of things you'll usually find on discounts or whatever. But top of my list for accessories though, monitor. Get another computer monitor. This one's about to give up the ghost. So that's on my list of things. The smoke, listen, I don't appreciate that the stigma online for our African American brothers and sisters is like the smoke detector brand. Cause I'm like, I can't stand it. I hear it. I change it. As soon as I hear that first beat, I'm like, no, you don't. Go to my spare battery that I usually pick up around Black Friday, because we don't really need batteries for stuff that much anymore. It's few random things that take batteries. So batteries are going to be on my accessories list for my Black Friday sale purchases. But I get those. The whatever the type of battery that goes in there, the square looking ones. I don't know what that one is. Those go. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You just get like a pack of 5 or something. So yeah, we're not doing the smoke detector. Let the year 2025 be the year that you be delivered from the smoke detector. Beating with Nicole B. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Nicole, what you getting for is it next week? Let me check my calendar. Allegedly. What is it like this? I don't know when Thanksgiving is. I just don't pay attention. So let the Lord use you on that one. Alrighty. So let's see here. Who else we got to say? I'm thinking of getting some heavy duty monitor arms if I can't find one for a good price. Okay, so here's my secret, kombucha. When it comes to monitor arms, most people, and I swear I find some of like the best stuff just getting to like the psychology of the buyer. Most people, especially when I see something that is, now they'll have a tag that says that it's commonly returned. This item is commonly returned, and it's usually because somebody has the dimensions wrong. And it'll say what monitor span, more or less, that the arms can handle. And they'll think, well, this didn't work for such and such. It's like saying these size 6 socks don't work for size 10 feet. They never will. You didn't read the instructions. I digress. So usually what you can find is that because they're trying to get the right people to buy the stuff or whatever, or just because a lot of stuff is returned, you can get something that somebody got hooked up once, returned, and now it's used or whatever the case is, and Bob's your uncle. It's literally how I got mine, because those are the ones that if you watch any major podcasts, mainstream type podcasts or media, it looks like suspension or some kind of, I guess maybe some type of suspension in the arms or something like that. So I got something like that from Amazon, and it's been a great find. If I did get monitor arms again, it would be, I don't like the ultra wide thing. That's just not my jam. But I would probably get something that could support it just in case I changed my mind, but I doubt it. Because I'm still on like a sleek desk type design. I don't want a lot of stuff. I want to be able to put stuff away and all those different things. The one thing I do want to find, if I can find it, I haven't figured out how to imagine this to work. I want to recess my monitor completely off the edge of my desk. And so I want the desk lid, like the end of the desk, to be here and my monitor to be there. And the only thing I can think of is if there is some triple action style arm that can completely go under there, or like I'm thinking I'm going to have to mount and get creative with some stuff under the desk and basically mount a monitor desk under the desk so that the arms come up and that it sits right there. Because that's what I desire. Because I don't want this in my face where I can touch it. I want to be able to do like that and not hit nothing. Like that's in my imagination, that's like an ideal desk scenario versus all these octopus style arms. I can't take that. The big light dome types, that stuff. I'm not claustrophobic or nothing, but that stuff bothers me, like how claustrophobic people describe certain things, like, oh, this is coming in. I'm like, get away, back it up like a U-Haul truck. All right. So I can feel you on the monitor arms. So I have the lighting you referred me to in my cart. I already have the Sony mic that came with my ZV-E10 creator kit, but I'm still considering a podcast style microphone like you said. So here's what I would say. When it comes to microphones, and I'm glad you brought this up and you brought up the two. So I was going through the Alvis accessories, what we talking about. One other thing, it's like, I would say efficiency-based accessories. I haven't got this over the last few years because I never needed it or whatever. But me and Alexa have become the greatest of friends when that heifer wants to listen to me. When I have turned her into my content creation assistant. And she does a great job as long as I'm not live. And I'm like, hey, ALEXA person, do this. And she's like, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear you. So I'm going to get some more of those because what I have in my mind to do is going to require her assistance. So I'm going to get that and I'm going to get some plugs and stuff like that. Now, to your point, going through the Alvis hierarchy of investments, ALVAS, audio, lighting are first. So I say accessories. It's not accessories. Audio, lighting, video, accessories, and then your software. So messing up my own stuff. So audio and lighting. Here's the thing. When it comes to the audio, it's like 3 type microphones that you kind of want to get more or less. You have your shotgun style microphones if you're going to be sitting with your camera on monopod on a desk or something like that. And then you have the podcast style microphones. And then you have where you can do a lapel. Not everybody likes the lapel because whether that is needing something like this to clip on or a button down type shirt. Because if you just only have a collared shirt, well, not truly a collar, but you just have a regular shirt on, I guess. Everybody doesn't like that, or it hangs depending on what it is, which is why for years, the Rode Smart Lav Plus is the one I got, but it's they have the Go Mic 2 just specifically for cameras. So it's like you have those 3 type, but that plugs into a wireless setup. So it really depends on, number one, what would annoy you. And this is what a lot of people don't think about. They just think, oh, I should get this and this. You more than anything else, what kind of stuff annoys you. That if you had to deal with a bunch of cables, would that annoy you? Or if you like me, like I said, with the big light dome and this computer arm and this thing and all octopus arms everywhere on the desk, I don't like that. So it's like, you more than anybody else, what kind of stuff would annoy you. And then alter your purchases based on that. So if I just want to leave it set up, I don't want to have to keep dealing with it and fidgeting with it and X, Y, and Z, then there are a lot of great USB podcast style microphones. Let me actually pull that up because that's going to be something that is absolutely a go-to for this season. I actually want to get a few myself. Most years I don't have anything that I want to buy. I have all the stuff that I need, but this year it's like accessories are seasoning out, if you will. All right, so let's go on over to the interwebs. All right, so yeah, they already got it getting ready to rumble. So Deity, I like these USB mic. Deity made this one, and surprisingly, this is a fantastic microphone. This is one of the ones that I have not tried that I have had tried. I just never got around. Like I've tried it, I've used it, but not enough to like cover it on the channel and stuff like that. This is a fantastic little microphone. and it's all metal. It's heavy like the pod mic is, but it's USB. And so, in my opinion, this is like one of the dopest little, least talked about now type microphones, because we do have microphones like the Rode Pod mic. And if you only want to go USB, cool. I like to have options because you never know how you're going to mature as a creator. But this is one of the ones that like gets a recommendation, but I just don't talk about it that often. And you have the Rode Pod mic. They have the two, should be the two out now. And that one should be the USB-C as well as XLR. I'm always going to vote USB-C and XLR because, again, having options means everything. And this one is a heavier mic. So if you get something like this, one of these, like the Deity mic or this one, then you need to get the one that's like a mic. I recall from your stuff, it was... Your setup was like you were trying to probably be like something like that. I'm not sure though. A little bit, and it freeze or pop up a little bit. That real quick so I can double check that. That's interesting. Oh, I'm doing beta today. I knew I should have known better. But I'm like, let's see here. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing it freeze just like a little bit. I don't know what that's. Now, what is going on here? That's not enough to doing now. I gotta figure out what's going on. Figure out what this issue is, because I cannot operate. Hell, looks like anything. All right, let's close that. Nothing's open though. All right, let me know if y'all seeing this. You should be hearing me, seeing me, or whatever, but I'm not sure what that's about. All right, so try to get back to what I was saying. See if it all right. Yeah, something's off. Can y'all see here any of the hashtag, any of the things? Let me know in the chat. Let me scroll down real quick. Sounds going in and out. Okay. All right. So, yeah. How odd. I don't know what that's about. Nothing's really open. I don't have 48,000 internet tabs open. And even then, All right, y'all. Excuse me. Had to restart for some reason. Let's see if that maybe fixed the problem, allegedly. I don't know what that was about. All right, so let me know if you are back, if you can hear me, if you can see me. It's only an issue with... All right, I think I'm back now. I can hear it on my phone. So let me know if you can hear me, see me okay. It looks good on my side, so it should be fine. Only thing is that, for whatever reason, I have an issue connecting to Twitter. But otherwise, everything's great. So let me know. Ravens Talk with Yolanda. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Came on in towards the end saying thanks for the shopping tip. You are most welcome, Kim Butchers, and I can hear you and see you now. Thank you so much, Brittany. Hey, girl. That photo's cute. That yellow, I love yellow. It's such a beautiful color. So it looks good. Be with Kobe, I can hear you, see you. Okay, I don't know what that was about. So let's go back to what we were talking about. And good to see you all if you're still here. Whether you come back around, whether you're here during the live or during the replay, good to see you. Saying I don't toss fries in anymore because the air fryer brings them back to... See, it's no point. It's like get the re-crispifier. Brings it all back. Saying under the desk hanging wires drives me crazy. That was something I solved a long time ago with accessories. As far as gear and stuff like that is concerned. I bought, what I did was, I've seen a lot of people do a couple things, like they'll do the shuttles for the most part under the desk, a bunch of plastic stuff. Again, I don't want anything kind of restricting because I put my feet up underneath my desk. And so if I go to put my feet up, and if Doc was here, he would say, your feet is already too close to the ground, Miss D. And so I don't want to kick something. And I've done that before, and then it may pop off or you just kicked it. So it's like little weird stuff like that. So what I did was bought these fabric type of zipper cable management, and that helps so much because when I do need to switch a cable or when something does go off with the cable and it's just time to switch it out, about every 12 to 18 months or so, you can sometimes get like 18 to 24 months depending. It's like I don't want to have to redo everything or pull down this plastic bus and then you just got cables going wild in there. So what I did was like the zipper one, so I can just unzip it, snake that cable out, put it back in, and then zip it back up. And that's been perfect for me. But to your question earlier, Nicole said, was thinking about, let me get back to, because we did have a little bit of technical difficulties. He's talking about getting a podcast style microphone, but he was talking about the Rode Pod mic. My vote, basically, short end of the stick is here. USB and XLR. So that way your content can grow and mature however you want it to. These are great. They're just heavy. And so you need some kind of sturdy podcast microphone. If you get one of the scissor joints that look, stick in. Okay, so maybe until I figure this out, we're done with the interwebs because I don't know what this is about. So we're just going to do me and you. All right. So I can do the stream. We can wrap it up and then I'll figure out what's what after the fact. But how bizarre. So usually I vote XLR. I'll be daggone. Daggone. We're going to try to get through this. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. End of the day, that's my vote. Be with Nicole. Get USB and USB-C now, and then get that and the XLR. Make sure you get good cables. I like JS AUX cables. Those are really good. Condor Blue has some that's really good. Just don't get something that's too long unnecessarily, depending on the setup. And then sometimes if you decide you want to switch to XLR, then at that point, here's my rule with that. Whatever you're going to do eventually, you might as well do it now. So if you're going to do it eventually, you might as well do it now. Because and that's not to say buy up a ton, come the holiday or whatever, but if in 2 to 3 months time that you're going to do it eventually, you might as well do it now, kind of a thing. Because some stuff is just not worth putting off. But I would do that instead of going only USB. That's the only downside with the DoD type mic, only USB. And that being the kind of go-to of that kind of issue or what have you. Saying, yeah, I think there are wires and cords trailing all over that would annoy me. Yeah, so if you know that kind of stuff would severely annoy you, what I did with my cables was it's still a cable organizer, but it's a zipper. And so it's almost like a neoprene type material. And so the way I did mine so that it does not annoy me is I hooked everything up to all of the devices before I did any cable running through the shuttle, so to speak. So that way you can see these cables go together, or this audio cable should not be touching these power cables, or they should not be close to this. This cable should not be close to this one, or whatever the case. And so I can put them in their own little kind of housings or groups, if you will. And it's not a ton of that, but it's just taking into consideration what's what. If you have a standing desk, or you want to get a standing type desk, then what do you do? What I did, because so you guys should be familiar with by now, hopefully, the incredible copywriter Ray Edwards, who actually did the foreword on my book. Thank you, Uncle Ray. I went out to his office and he wanted me to do his office setup like that. And he has a standing desk. So what we did or what I did, because Uncle Ray ain't getting under the desk. So what I did was same rules apply. I did the same thing for his. The cables stay more or less attached to the desk, so that, and you can do Velcro strips. You can do some kind of cable tie or something like that. Or even I like preferably the black thin type Velcro or whatever. It's like maybe micro, what do you call it? It's like, I'm looking right at it. I'm trying to think of what it's called, but it's not Velcro. Is it Velcro? Am I thinking of the right thing? Thinking and saying the right thing? Whatever it is, goes to shh, that thing when you rip it apart. I think I'm thinking of the right thing. So I did some of those for like attachments. So if you have a white desk, get the white ones. If you have white legs and you want the aesthetic, get those. I just go black on black when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that way I could tie it to the leg. All of the cables run from wherever the main area is. We tie it up there. I also did for my desk, any, what do you call it? Surge protector. I really should have drank more coffee before the stream. Any surge protector, for the most part, if you flip it over, it has holes on the bottom. That is so you can do like a wall attachment or something like that. If yours is flush, you can do some type of double-sided tape. I like the double-sided tape that has a foam density to it by Command. They have it, those same little foam type strips. Now they have ones that are stronger. It's not just for like hanging a painting or whatever. It's stronger. So it can take the pull and the hang and that whatever residual weight that you would get from all of your cables and stuff pulling on it. Get you a good surge protector. And it has like holes on the bottom. So I drilled in holes to the bottom of my desk so I could lock in and mount a surge protector hanging down on my desk. So all of the cables run from the devices into their respective things. And then, because that is one cable from the surge protector, snake it down the leg, and then that plugs into a, what's the name of right here at my, on my floor. And that's what I use. Because at first it was probably a fire concern on the way I had stuff hooked up. I said, let me do this right while I'm operating on grace, that nothing has gone wrong. And so that's what I decided to do. So if you have something where you're going to move your desk, like maybe you need to move the desk forward for you to move it away, or if you're creating in a dining room, whatever, you can do something like that. So it's attached to the desk instead of the cables running wildly to a thing. So you just kind of got to think outside the box a little bit, but those kind of accessories and stuff like that are always on sale or what have you. Saying audio's back. Cool. Yeah, it was no audio for a minute. So since I can hear myself, It's frustrating that stuff was going wrong. I'm really gonna have to troubleshoot and figure out, because that's a first. I haven't had any issues all week. To your other question, you got the lighting kit. Make sure you have diffusion. Make sure you have diffusion. LED light panels, even though they're frosted, need diffusion. Otherwise, you will have the deer in the headlights. I understand. There are those creators that, especially in the gaming space, or maybe more regular live streaming type creation or whatever, maybe got a podcast and they do it live, whatever floats their boat or finds their lost remote. They love that blasted light look. I would venture to say most content creators do not. So you need diffusion for your LED light panels. And so the pop-up soft box, in English, soft boxes that I like, that we were talking about before, diffuse, I've had them for years. So, and I've traveled with them. They're definitely sturdy, whatever the case is. You can get the smaller ones or you can get the bigger ones. Since mine are attached to the ceiling, I went ahead and got the larger one so it more evenly spreads the light. But if you're going to get LED light panels, just make sure you have diffusion. Otherwise, you're going to have to hack it some kind of way. And I would recommend not doing it, because then you can for sure just get a consistent look, set it and forget it for the most part. That's my recommendation. Let's see here. We scroll back down. Here you see you. Cool. Say thank you. You're welcome, girl. Said now we cooking Greek grease. That's what my dad used to say. Said I need a mic placement that will allow me to look down at my beating and table, and allow me at your beating table and allow my arms to move freely. So yeah, that's going to be some kind of a mic arm. The reason why I like this Elgato LP one is because I can raise this second half up. I know Ulanzi made one that's very similar, and a lot of other companies will make some that were very similar, but the difference is with these type, and I'm pretty sure by now, since these came out some years ago, it's other ones, but this one I can raise it up and do just like this when I'm done. And so whether I had a standing desk and I wanted to, stand up or whatever the case is, I like that, because when I'm literally done with the stream, and I've moved this a couple different times, I pull the arm up vertical, slide it over, and it's out of the way. Then when it's time for me to do a call, or it's time for me to hop on for like the stream, or I need to do video, I swing the arm down and it's ready to go. So for me, that's the one thing that the other ones were missing, because they would swivel out towards you, but you can't angle them up. So I would just see sitting at your desk, because you don't know what you're going to need exactly, but you can kind of imagine, and you just kind of want to look for something that best fits that imagination. So if you need something that is a certain length, on most phones, it has like the digital measuring thing. So you can say from this edge of the desk, make a point when you tap the screen, to this edge of the desk is how long that you need, and then make sure the lengths match up. So most phones have some type of measuring tool built into it, or there's free apps out there. Try that. Or if you have like a measuring tape, run a measuring tape to see how long you need for that extension to work. Not necessarily what it is collapsed, but it's little stuff like that. So when I was buying a new desktop, this wooden one for my desk, the one thing that I did was I measured the space, because I'm like, I don't need it wider. I need it's fine if it's a little thinner, but I need it a certain length so that I have enough space for my monitor, for my computer, the little accessories and stuff that goes with it. From the Vocaster, you got the computer, you got the loop deck, you got the mic arm, you got my phone stand, all that little stuff. I'm like, I need all that stuff on one side, and I need that other side clear so that I can write and do whatever else I need to. But I mostly have access to my desk. And so I measured what I had at the moment and how much extra I could afford before maybe I'm blocking my walkway the way that I want to, or whatever, just a little measuring tape, and then try to get as close to that as possible when you're doing that. But if you don't have measuring tape, it's usually a digital app that'll allow you to say like from this point to this point, and it'll use like some type of augmented reality type of a setup to do that. Saying thanks, my cart about to be all the way. Hold on. if you have questions, we're going to be streaming next week to kind of help go through those purchases and what the best ones are for sales and deals and stuff like that. And usually I run a page on the website every year of my best finds, because then I can update that easier than sometimes always like just waiting until that Friday's live stream. So I'll be live next week. So if you got questions about it, is this right? Or how does this work? X, Y, and Z. I'll be live going through helping with some of the decision making and stuff that comes, because it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure. It's excitement. It's like, oh, what if I miss it? Should I get 2 of these? And then if I get both of them wrong, then what? Kind of stuff. So I'll be live next week. Velcro. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, it's like little Velcro type ties or micro Velcro, because it's not as thick as it used to be. But those are super good. You can get those at any local anything store. They have them. It's just a matter of how wide they are. That'll kind of help keep that in place. We give y'all the best secret in the business. Y'all not ready for this. I know you're not ready for this. You've never heard this before in your life. But I'm about to tell you my secret. Toupee tape. Remember, I actually was wearing this sweater in the video. And I was sharing how when I go and give my talks and I'm doing a presentation on stage or something like that, they usually are going to mic me up with something. And whatever it is that they're micing me up, I want my own audio so that I have my own content so I can put out stuff for my talks, or when I'm updating my speaking reel, whatever the case is, then I can do that. I'll use toupee tape to hold my sweater in place. It looks natural. And it'll also hold my lapel microphone so it's not flopping, because then you get that kind of a tinging sound of it just constantly hitting your earring or your necklace or your whatever. I don't have those issues because I keep it in place with toupee tape. Now, if you have some kind of a weird small thing, toupee tape is insanely strong. Obviously, for good reason. You don't want somebody out on a windy day or taking their hat off and their unit comes off with it. Toupee tape is insanely strong. And because it's made for skin, it works insanely well on devices that scratch easy. So what I do, for example, I have 2 SSD drives connected to my computer so that I'm not bogging down my space on my computer. Have no idea why we had tech issues today. I had to figure that out because not a ton is on the computer. However, to keep my SSD drives together, guess what I employ? The toupee tape. That's what holds it together. I don't need double-sided tape for that because it would be too thick. And I attach that to the end then with a double-sided tape because it's thick enough to have a connection point, and that's what I use. Those big power bricks, that's another something I do with my cable management. Those big power bricks that some of everything has is super heavy. You don't know how to, it can't fit into anybody's cable ties or anything like that. Guess what I use? Not toupee tape. It's the double-sided tape with the foam. If you get the ones that's kind of foamy, double-sided tape by like Gorilla Glue or Command Strips, one of those well-known companies, that is going to be great for holding those power bricks in place. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you run your cables from your device. I'll take the double-sided tape, and you can take something like your tripod or a vlogging tripod or something like that, or smartphone tripod. Something depends on how tall it is. And I use that so I don't have to hold it in place because you need to do like 30 seconds or whatever. Usually for those big power bricks, it may require 2 of those or 3 of those. And so what I've done, I'm giving y'all all the good stuff here. What I've done is I'll take like 2 little light stands or something, and I'll put those all the way up, and I'll tension them so it's putting pressure on there so I don't have to hold it. So while that's setting, and I may let that stay like that for 30 minutes, an hour, go take a lunch break, whatever, run errands and come back and let it do its thing. But if you are continuing on with hooking up your desk setup, so that way it's holding that in place and I can run my cables everywhere else. So it's usually one cable on one side, the power brick, and a cable on another side for something else. So under my desk, that's another reason I don't need like the bus thing. I can just use the zipper parts, because if I exchange out the gear, now what do I do with this big old thing? I just unhook it because it is held together with that double-sided foam thickness type of command strip, and that pulls off super easy, and it doesn't leave any issues. And I've had it stay for, it was only until I had to remove the Rode stuff, swap that out for the Vocaster. Bees Knees Hall of Fame, because that was a big one. The older ones it's a little heavy. It's a little heavy. So yeah, saying I am at work, so I can't stay, but want to say thanks for your content, Diane. Well, I appreciate it. Make it and take it outdoors. Good to see you. Glad you're here. I appreciate you coming through, leaving a comment. Glad the content has served you well. So that's a great idea with the surge protector. It's just the little stuff. It really is. Because it's not until you run into some kind of a problem that you're experiencing, and then you're like, how do I solve this? I want to see what this device has or what I can do to best suit me. And again, it's usually based on what things little quirks and stuff about you that maybe would annoy you, things that you would love, and that it would make it ideal. If you could set up the best desk type setup, or if you could have this the best way possible that would make life easier for you, what would it be? That's why I attach my stuff to the wall. I'll give y'all another one, because these are the little things, like I said, accessories wise. It's a big deal for your space setup. It just don't get as much coverage because it's not as sexy as a camera. So there's all kind of wall mounts and stuff like that for security arm cameras and stuff like that, or security arms for security arm cameras and their arms that goes with those type of accessories. Those are used to connecting to a wall, to the cement, depending on what your space has. You can do that. Well, in my office, I have a little closet, which my camera is recessed into. It used to sit on a tripod. Shout out to the Amazon 60-inch Basics tripod. I was using that for eons. But I'm like, if I move my desk, if I'm trying different lenses or whatever, you got to adjust. Okay, well, I'm like, every so often I would kick the tripod, and I'm like, let's get this off the floor. So I got one of those type arms, attached that to the shelf in the closet, and recessed it down. So now it's not attached to anything other than the shelf, and it screws in. So it's little stuff like that is like, it doesn't have to be mirrorless camera, content creator based type stuff. It could be some of anything that will work best for what you're trying to do. It just is thinking outside the box. Like I said, the camera airboat thing, that's what that sits on. So it just little stuff like that. You build the setup that you want, because it's not always going to exist out in the wild perfectly. You just got to think outside the box a little bit. And say, yeah, I forgot I would add diffusions to my cart. We'll add the ones you recommended last week. Yeah, this Bees Knees Hall of Fame. those diffuse ones. Saying, great, I will tune in next week. Looking forward to it. Saying, that's smart. I would have never thought about using toupee tape. Thank you for that. I'm telling you that, especially if you want a lapel mic under your shirt, especially for women, especially like me, you have a large bust. Okay, well, a lot of stuff is made for men. Because the photography industry primarily has been men for a really long time. Well, most stuff is made for men. Like you have certain companies that make creator backpacks or hiking backpacks, stuff like that. You'll see it more refined for women versus just having the for women tag. There's other stuff like that that's not considered. Okay, well, what if you do have a large bust? What are you supposed to do? So I run mine, just because it's probably most women on here right now. I run my lapel mic. I'll attach it to, especially if I want it under your shirt. I'll attach it, take it off the clip thing, attach it directly to the toupee tape. I'll put a slit of there, and then the tape, and then my shirt, and then just press it down. Then I'll snake it around to the side and then down, because going straight down, you're going to have a cable showing right through the front. Well, I'll snake it down off to the side, so that way it's not an issue. And then depending on what you're wearing, you can do it under the bra strap or whatever the case is. It just depends. I don't do it that way hardly ever, but that is an option. But you snake it off to the side, so that way you're presented with the same flush type of look, whether that was a dress or a shirt. And then, of course, different fabrics and stuff like that work for you. But toupee tape is amazing, because I can use toupee tape to hold that lapel mic in place. Well, I got all this tape now. So stuff like cam links, If I want my cam link to stay in the same spot, I don't need the double-sided tape. I can just use the toupee tape because that's super flexible, easy on the skin, which means it would be easy on any type of surface. Gregory Wade in the building. Good to see you, glad you're here. Saying I've had the ZVE 1 with the Go 24 to 70, but not anymore. Should I get the A7 IV with the OG 24 to 70? 24 to 70 or the ZVE 1 with the new 24 to 70? Depends on what you're trying to do. I guess you mean like the OG 24 to 70. It depends on what you're trying to do and what kind of content that you want to make. Or should I go with the GM1 instead over the version 2 of the Sigma? When it comes to stuff like that, so a couple things usually when it comes to updates for lenses, it's usually going to be one of two, no, not one, it'll be one or two type things that you're looking at with the update. Number one, depending on when the Mark 1 and stuff came out, the autofocusing motors. And it doesn't seem like with as good and fast as Sony autofocus is, it doesn't seem like it will make one hill of a bean one way or the other. It's not the camera's autofocus that you need to be concerned with. It is the lens focusing motors, depending what you're doing, that makes a huge difference. Case in point, I was shooting my nephew's graduation. And if you're doing something like that, where that scenario is only going to happen, everything happens only once. Nobody's going to rewalk. Nobody's going to take a couple steps back. They're not stopping the procession for you. And so while the camera's autofocus, and I use the A7 IV, I actually use the 7200 G Master. The Mark II, I think, had just come out for that one. Beautiful lens. So a couple things. The glass will be improved, and that's great for like the edges so it doesn't look warped for anything that's on the side. But the biggest thing is going to be the weight and the autofocusing motors. If what you are doing requires that you're only going to get the opportunity to get the shot once, not like you doing a video or something like that, or you recording content for somebody else, and the 24 to 70 gets you that versatility. Now, like I said, size and weight, that's a bigger thing for me, because video, you're not doing a ton and the motors can keep up just fine. The 85, a good example of it needing better autofocusing motors is a Sony 85 millimeter. I can't think of this, like a f1.8, f2.8 or something like that. OG lens, beautiful lens, fantastic rendition, horrible autofocusing motors compared to today's standards. It needed a Mark II. So the 24 to 70 is kind of, they're a dime a dozen, honestly. It more so is the weight going to be a thing for you? And it makes more sense because if you have a bag, and I've been there, your bag is 50 pounds worth of gear on your back. Now, take that into consideration of the difference in the weight of the lens. It makes a huge difference when you carry it. It makes a huge difference when you actually have to carry it. Or like you're doing an event. So I spoke at an event, and then I also was testing the lens. This was the 24 to 70. No, this was also the 7200 G Master. No, what was that one? I think it was 7200. So that one made a difference, not because I was carrying a ton of gear. I wasn't. I had 2 cameras and maybe 3 lenses. Just because I was making content, I was recording my talk, and then my friend wanted me to get some shots and stuff for her, which I did. The difference was, do I now feel like carrying this 70 to 200, in your case, 24 to 70, do I feel like carrying this around? It wasn't a bad carry around, but compared to, for me, I freaking adore the Sony ZVE 1 for that specific reason. One of those specific reasons. A7 IV is not bad, better grip. It just depends on what you're doing. So are you going to get tired of carrying it during an event? You got 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 hours on your feet if you're looking at before the event, after the event, before the shoot, after the shoot. And whether you got a strap, it don't matter. Are you going to get tired of carrying the gear? So that's the kind of stuff that goes into it. Like, is this a one and done kind of a something? Or do we have the opportunity for retakes kind of a thing? And most of the time, you're probably going to be fine with either camera. It just depends on the use case. A7 IV and ZVE 1 are wildly different type of use cases. Could you use it for creator stuff? Yeah. Could you do some shots on it? Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, a little bit less desired probably on the ZVE1 because of the 12 megapixels. But the A7 IV is a fantastic camera again, but what's the use case? It's always going to boil down to use case. But lenses, weight, weight a consideration? Do you need the edge fringing? Do you need the better focusing motors in the lens? That always makes a huge difference. Beating with the Cold Beast, I do have a question. When I record using the Sony ECM G1 mic, will I hear the difference in sound when I play it back on the camera, or do I need to wait until I upload the content on my computer? You will hear the difference best on a computer, because as good as the preamps have got in the camera, if you're listening live, those are terrible. That's the one thing that absolutely I wish would be updated across all cameras. When you have the headphones plugged into your camera and you're listening live, it's going to sound like trash in a bag. You're going to hear a bunch of environmental noise and stuff that's not actually picked up on the phone. When you have the digital microphones plugged into the hot shoe, the first thing that happens is it reduces the overall noise floor. So you're not recording with a bunch of pads and stuff around the room, so the room's not sound treated or sound dampened to some degree. So what happened is, like, the noise floor comes down. It's not going to be as loud. And then you can adjust like the volumes for those, the DJI mic 2s, and then the Sony adapter. I freaking love those, but you can't adjust the audio in camera. I can on the DJI device, but I cannot on the camera. So when you get over into the computers, I would definitely do some tests first. Do some tests. Then see what do you need to do for the audio, or how comfortable can you be with it, based on how you talk, like when you laugh, or you know what I'm saying, or you jingling the beats around. How does that kind of stuff sound? So I would do some tests first before you probably do a full-on video and stuff like that. And then, if I recall, that one has a 3.5 millimeter port on it. You just got to be careful with those kind of cables in general, because if you run those along with power cables, like I was talking about earlier, when you run cables and stuff like that for a shuttle bus, so to speak, you can, and you do have the chance of picking up audio interference. Some people's phones pick up that kind of stuff. It just depends. But yeah, that's the one thing. The noise floor is going to be quieter, so the audio levels may be quieter than you're used to, because that noise floor is lower. And it's the beautiful thing. That is the way. I'm calling it now. Called it almost a year ago. The digital mic directly into the hot shoe. That is like, oh my gosh! Hurry up and make more shotgun microphones in some way that can be tethered, like extended out. Bees Knees Hall of Fame. Tomo Tings in the house. Good to see you. I said I have a Sony a6700, and when I'm setting up my shot, I use zebras to help me expose for the look I want. And continuing on, so when I look at the multimeter, it's always about +2 overexposed, which seems crazy. If I want the multimeter at 0, it's too dark. Any ideas why this is? Well, there's a lot of great technical explanation for that. I'm not going to go too deep into the weeds here. However, I will say you definitely are going to watch. I wish I had some of my ones that I have saved, but I don't remember the exact creators, but they usually should pop up. The thing with zebras is this: there is a certain range, or you'll hear it like IRE explained, that should be based on more or less like the skin tones. And the reason why the skin tones are important is because when you shine light at a face, how that light is not really reflected, but kind of absorbed and presented on the skin matters. So because I have a darker skin tone or a darker hue to my skin, the same maybe light brightness on my skin, my IRE would need to be different. So let's say mine is like, I don't know, it could be like, let's say 70 for base. We're using 70 for the base for the zebras. That may be fine, but other people, they may need to bring their stuff lower depending on their skin tones. All this stuff, I promise you, if you Google like how to use zebras on a camera or whatever, it'll come up. And then you have those that like, it's like, oh, it needs to be higher, but it's usually like a small range on the camera. The thing with this is you need to figure out and run some tests on what works best in your environment for the kind of lights you use, the distance that you are, and because you have a lighter hue to your skin tones, usually it's going to fall within a certain range. So you want to sit, and what I'll do is I'll sit in front of the camera. I think mine is like at 55, 50 or 55 in the camera. And then I make adjustments slightly, but you may be somewhere in like the 70, I'd say start at least 70, maybe allegedly, but give it a shot. Just watch one of those tutorial videos. But the biggest thing you're going to notice, you need to sit in front of the computer. I'm gonna use my phone, for example, because I don't have my other camera over here. Start the recording if you can, or hook it into the computer like for a live stream type setup. And you want to look and be like, okay, this is what it looks like. I'm at right now 50 to 55 IRE or whatever in the camera. You may not know exactly what you're saying. You may not know exactly how it's contributing to the image yet. It doesn't matter. You need to be audibly describing to yourself. It's like, I can see zebras right here on my face. I can see some right here on my phone. It looks fine to me. Or on my camera, it looks fine to me. On the computer, it looks like X. Audibly say this stuff to yourself. So when you put the SD card in the camera and you watch the file back, you can get a good idea of what looks like what on you. And that's basically the best way, I think, to go about approaching it when you know nothing about nothing with it. And again, that's without going off into the weeds about it. But it's a lot of great videos from way more technical people that fully understand this in far more depth than I do to explain it. But basically, you're not going off of what you see on the camera. You're going off of the actual data that the camera is receiving. So if you start going down that far in, you just need to be like, okay, I'm a sponge. I can do this. I'm going to learn it. But like you're probably going to do like 2 or 3 test videos until you figure out what it is. I don't have it set up on the ZV-10. I do have my zebra set up on that one, but I don't know if it'll show through the live stream. I've never done the zebras before. It might, but yeah, it just do that. It's usually between a 50 to 70 range for a myriad of skin tones or whatever. But you just want to sit and be like, this is what I see. The light right here looks like this. It's showing zebras around X, or it's not. Then that way you can connect in your head with the stuff that you're seeing, the number that's on your camera versus what you actually see. 9 times out of 10, I really don't use zebras. I did it so I could like start learning how to use it and get more comfortable with it should I need it, like just a tool in the toolbox. But it's not my default. More videographer, filmmaker type creators will be like, oh, I always use zebras. I don't like the distractions on the camera. Again, it's my personal jam. So what I've learned to do is what looks best for me. So for multimetering, it depends on what it's focused on. If it's just a small box, when you're choosing what it's going to be in the camera, if it's just a small box, it's going to say, hey, whatever's within the range of this box is what I'm measuring, or circle, I think it is on the Sony cameras. So it's like whatever it is in the range of this circle is what I'm measuring. And then you can go wider or whatever. And if you have the multimeter more or less for the full image, it's saying like, I'm judging the whole image and I'm telling you if the overall whole image, not just whatever is within a certain space, or maybe a face may be, but whatever's in the whole image is going to look a certain way. 9 times out of 10, I'm fine with just multimetering. And I know for me, my skin tones, the kind of lighting, whether I go indoors, outdoor, whatever, I personally prefer my multimetering setting to be at plus 0.7 every single time. I don't care what lens, I don't care what settings, I don't care what lights. It's 9 times out of 10 going to be plus 0.7 so that my skin looks great no matter if I'm wearing a white or a black shirt. It always comes across normal. And that's usually my baseline, to at least look normal. Anything beyond that, we're getting into customized looks. But that's how, like, I know what I should be in my zebra settings. I'll have that set if I need it and I'm really in a very high dynamic range scenario. But 9 times out of 10, I'm just using the multimetering because I know plus 0.7 is fine. And the camera has plenty of dynamic range as well as your A6700 to make adjustments should you need them. If you're really filming something where all of that stuff really matters, then it really does make sense to go in deep in the weeds with somebody that fully knows and can appreciate and tell you all the ins and outs. Unfortunately, I'm just not that person because it's not something I have to use or need to use all the time. So hopefully that gives you some clarity. So Brittany saying, thank you for the snaking technique with the toupee. I will be using that. Heard that. Is I've been looking at that. Well, first of all, Anthony Lopez, good to see you. Glad that you are here. So I've been looking at cameras, and a Canon G7X Mark III and Sony RX100 Mark VII is a hard decision to pick. Any help? Okay, so taking my bias out of the equation between Sony and Canon, because I came from Canon, I still have actually a lot of love for Canon. However, I'm going to assume that the use case is for vlogging or something thereabout, on the go content creation, right? The reason why the Canon G7X Mark II and III has as much life and prestige and love is because in the world before every camera brand recognized the market of content creators, you just had to pick the closest camera, and this is why it fits. And this is as close as we can get to the things that we need. That wind up being the Canon G7X Mark II. G7X Mark III came out in a world where content creation cameras do exist, which is why, in my opinion, it's already lower on the bottom pole, on the totem pole, because the G7X Mark II and the G7X Mark III both suck at one of the number one things I think a content creator camera needs to have, which is reliable autofocus, where you don't have to think about it. You don't have to wonder if I turn my head or if a tree branch blows in or not, or whatever the case is it going to hunt between the background or me? So honestly, I'll give you what I would choose in my personal opinion, but between those two, I would not get the Canon G7X Mark III, despite the beautiful videos you may see online or whatever. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. What you don't see is when we test cameras and when we're putting cameras to work, how many times we have to redo something, or we're considering, is that because it's too much going on in the shot that it's having a hard time focus, or you don't catch it, or you like, I'm not going to include that. And so it's a lot of times where stuff doesn't get included. Now, real life use case scenario, you go and use that camera. Nobody is doing this for auto. You don't do this in any of your videos. Nobody does this. You're not going to bounce down and up unless you got a little one, or whatever. So it's like that kind of stuff is not the normal use case scenarios. It is when somebody else comes in the frame, or somebody walks behind you or in front of you, or you put the camera down for a second while you're trying to get through TSA or whatever the case is, and then you pick it back up. Little stuff like that does make a difference with acquiring autofocus, holding autofocus, and at any point in time, no matter what I'm doing, if I got my phone kind of partially blocked, whether it sees me, can hold focus or not. And because it has that contrast detection autofocus, what Panasonic, or as they prefer to be addressed now, Lumix, used back in the days, it's basically reading from the front, hit the subject, go behind it, come back, which is why you would see that bouncing. It's a quick thing that you see, but that's what's happening. It's scanning like, oh, there it is. And it just keeps going, and keep going until it's like, okay, there it is. You move, it's got to do that action again. They've done better with that, but it's not great. The Sony, what's the name of, what do you call it? The Sony RX100 7 that came out right around the Sony ZV era. Honestly, if you only want to choose between the two, I'd go Sony, because they have the phase detection autofocus, some of the fastest autofocus in the world on every iteration of their cameras. So it's not a question. The other thing is you just don't have to think about basic autofocus, hands down. It does look better, in my opinion. Menus more or less are going to be the same. A couple reasons, again, why I would not choose that is that they're both kind of already were behind when they came out. So honestly, you could get a Sony ZV-1 Mark 1. I think it's better than the Mark II, but the Sony ZV-1 Mark II has come out. Even the DJI Osmo cameras are out now. They're up to the 3. And those are better options if you're trying to vlog. But if you really want that point and shoot style of camera, your goal is content creation, I would go the Sony ZV-1 route. Not either one of those. Because for more or less the same price, even on a used market, it's a better buy for content creation. Because you have a whole bunch of other things in the camera built with the intent for content creators, in my opinion. If you wanted to solely choose between those two, again, I would still kind of go the Sony route because of just the 100% reliable autofocus. You don't have to think about it, kind of a thing. And I get Canon has a lot of love. It just, I don't know, it's just some kind of magnetism about Canon, honestly, that makes them super sexy in that way. But like they still came out with contrast detection autofocus. And as a creator, if you making stuff, it just sucks. I've been there. It sucks when it's like you got the shot right, the vibe was right, or you have fun and you was filming you and your friends, whatever, you's out of town, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, man, why is it out of focus? Or it keep going out of focus, or for, this 7 span second, this 10 seconds over here, another 5 seconds over here throughout whatever the day of you creating, little shots keep going in and out of focus. That's the kind of stuff that kind of like is annoying as you're creating over time, my opinion. So hopefully, that makes the decision a little bit better. But at the end of the day, go with what you like. I'm going to give you my opinion, and then I'm going to give you kind of like the best suggestion based on what you're saying. And I'm guessing your intended use case being vlogging, but get what you want. Get what you actually like. And honestly, to hell with what I say or anybody else say, because it's really about what you like and what really will make you happy. That makes a bigger difference than probably anything else I say, because that's kind of stuff for some people, they don't care. It doesn't matter. They're fine with it. It's not that big of a deal because you're happy using with what you have. And if you're happy with what you bought, you're going to actually use it more, and you're going to be less likely to put it down or be frustrated or even feel some level of like, oh, man, I got to learn this thing, and all that angst or whatever. So just get what's actually going to make you happy. If any of those options, it's like, see what makes you happy. Which one are you gravitating towards? And honestly, if that's the Canon and that's what you like, get it. Because it don't matter what you buy. I give you a bajillion reasons why I get the Sony this one ever, such and such. And you be like, yeah, but I don't like that one. You know what I'm saying? Get what you actually like. I'm just like 10 toes down at the end of the day. Get what you actually like. You know why? Because as soon as you get the thing that you don't like, but it checks a bunch of boxes, you're just gonna giving it the side eye the whole time. You're gonna keep watching YouTube videos on the stuff that you like, and you're gonna eventually find a reason to send it back and why it's not good enough and get what you want anyway. So that's my thoughts around that. Hopefully that helps. Gregory saying, sorry, I had the OG Sigma 24-70. Okay. But I'm looking at the Sony GM1 or the Sigma version 2 because it's lighter. I had the ZVE one, but return it. The A7 IV is the same price. Right now I'm torn between these two cameras. Why though? Why are you torn? Saying the camera is mainly on the tripod unless I'm vlogging, and this will be my only lens. Or do you recommend the Sony 16-35 GM1 over both for all around vlogging and one and done lens? I'm gonna be honest with you. Ain't nobody vlogging on no 24. Gregory, me and you, brother. Me and you. All right. I'm gonna say something. It ain't gonna sound the best. All right. But I'm saying it in love. The stuff that you see on YouTube, I almost guarantee in the wild, in the real world, there's no event. There's nobody around, but you're vlogging or something like that. Nobody's using a 24-70 to vlog. Nobody. That's not what they choose to pick up and go with if they don't have a video in mind or a content piece in mind or whatever. I love my creative friends. Like, they are amazing people. I love the people that I love to watch that y'all love to watch too, right? Creators are amazing people. And I'm not saying that they're being dishonest. I'm just saying when it comes to what I'm actually going to choose, if you put all of them on a desk, and the things that like, these are my options and I can choose. Let's imagine you own all of it and it's on a desk. You're not picking up the 24-70. You know why? Because nobody wants to hold a bazooka all the way out here, walking around like you in Nazi Germany for, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's walking around like this. Like you the Statue of Liberty. We're not doing this for 24/7. Nobody. I guarantee you, none of us are doing this for, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is Statue of Liberty strong all day long. You know why? Because this is annoying. This is not normal. Vlogging is already its own thing. You know how you hold your camera? Like this. You're just holding it like this. Arm bent slightly like this. That's it. This is what you're doing. This is how you walking around. And the lens that's going to do it, even on a full frame camera, is not a 24-70. At best, 16. Because once you add in digital stabilization, whether that's coming from the ZV camera or you're using the IBIS and some level of digital on the Sony A7 floor, I've vlogged with both. And so again, use whatever you want. I choose the ZVE one because it's right for me. And if you already got rid of it because you don't like it, end of story. Like, end of story, because you get what you know what I'm saying? So get what you like. If you don't need my permission or anybody else's justification of why one is better, you already like one or the other, probably because now you've tried them. You're gravitating towards them. And if it really is a difficult decision, again, imagine everything's on the desk. I promise you, you're not choosing 24-70. Imagine you on your best trip ever. Somebody sends you the tickets. Hotel is paid. Flights covered. Okay. Best airlines that can get you there is getting you there. First class, whatever, Bees Knees Hall of Fame, right? You can choose any piece that you want. I promise you, you probably aren't going to pick a 24-70. Not for vlogging, because you're going to need to be out here into the stratosphere. And unless you got Stretch Armstrong's type limbs, I'm going to venture to say you don't want to hold this out Statue of Liberty style all day long. You know what I'm saying? Then 16-35 is great. 16 is the bare minimum for vlogging. It is wonderful for lightweight. So if anything, it would probably be that. If you're more apt to getting an f2.8 lens type stuff, then you got to go down to the APS-C route. But if you don't want to go to that route for smaller, lighter, for vlogging type stuff, the 16-35 honestly is the only real suggestion, especially if the go-tos for vlogging. If it's on the tripod any other time, then you can use whatever you want for lenses wise. But if you know 90% of the time I'm going to be vlogging, I promise you, you're not going to be wanting to use a 24-70, because as soon as you hook it up in the car, it's too close. As soon as you ask your friend to hold it, you got to take some steps back. As soon as you're on a balcony or something, unless you're Spider-Man, you have no more else room to go. So those are like the real scenario type stuff that happens when you're actually creating. But put all that stuff on the table, actually use it, be using it. Most people in the store be like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. Walking around like the Statue of Liberty. Then vlogging becomes less fun because it's annoying. I promise you, I went through all the stages. And shoot, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane. And if it really is that hard, and if it really is that much of a struggle, rent it. Was it Diana.link/lens rentals? If you have any moderators in the chat, they can throw that in the chat for you. Diana.link, like you type in any regular website, /lens rentals. It should give you $25 off of your first rental. If you use that way you can rent the lens that you really think that you truly want to use. Online specs mean nothing to in real life use case scenario. Nobody's picking the Stretch Armstrong type scenarios. Lok Chung is the only one I know that has really long arms and is really stable, and it almost looks identical no matter what he's doing. I don't think that's most people don't have super long arms like that, nor do you want it extended all day. I'm off my soapbox, but I'm just being honest with you. Okay, so that's just the real deal, Holyfield. So I wish the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II had some IBIS, as do I. POV gamer, good to see you, glad you're here. As do I. And it in full, honestly, I think it should have. And I'm gonna do you one better. It should have had dynamic active state. That should have been the undeniable content creator's camera, hands down. I was waiting to see if that camera would maybe pull me back to APS-C, because the A6700 is so close to the freaking ZVE1 is insane. But I don't want it. Not because it's APS-C. I love APS-C, honestly, more than full frame. Full frame is just the one, just so happens to be the one that the camera I love is on. That's it. And I don't honestly think they're going to show as much love to APS-C long term, in my opinion. I hope that I'm wrong, just like I was wrong about them releasing more better cameras for APS-C, and they did the FX30, A6700, and the ZVE10 Mark II. So I was wrong completely. And I'm glad. Lenses, we've yet to see them for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Invest into the lens lineup in more, I don't know, just with more gusto. I wish it had IBIS too. I wish it had IBIS. I wish it had dynamic active stay, because then it would have been absolutely undeniable. We got wide lenses. You got the Sigma 10 to 18 f2.8, which is a freaking phenomenal lens. We have that already. That and the yeah, and hell yeah, that would, oh my gosh, all day long, would have been amazing. Oh great, thanks. You're very welcome. What is up? Live production tips and tools. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Glad that you are here exploring Canada in the Build IA. Good to see you. Saying popping in at the end today, Diane. I'm going to have to catch up when the stream ends. Well, you'll see us having a little skedaddle in the beginning because the stream cut out. So once you hit that part of the replay, or I had to restart my computer, I don't know what was going on. And then we come back with the magic of Ecamm, just being able to resume instead of having to restart. Just skip over all that mess. You can't hear me anyway. Just skip on over to the good stuff. What's up, Kevin Cos? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Kevin, remember saying, hey, has everyone remembered to hit that like button? Thank you. Thank you. Hit the like button if you like what you're seeing, heard. You're getting some help out here in these real and digital streets. Said, I don't like that white chocolate. I'm going to have to get that milk chocolate. And you know what? With the magic of Ecamm, this is why I love this right here. You see this comment, you pull it up. Somebody says, I don't like, but you can help them. Okay, with your donation. Saying, here we fix this with the magic. Here we go, keyboard. Freaking love that white chocolate. I'm going to have to get white chocolate. Thank you, Ecamm Live. See, Kevin, I knew you love white chocolate. I already knew that. Like, that was a given. And, you know, at the beginning of the stream before you even got here, brother, welcome to the fold. Because white chocolate is the way. Do you hear me? It is the way out here in these real and digital streets. So don't worry, I fixed that comment for you. I'm not going to let you leave you hanging like that, brother. Saying thanks for the information. Have a great day. You are very welcome, Anthony. Have a good day as well and a good weekend. Saying, I was vlogging on the Sigma 24 to 70 L Plus. I seen that 1635 is the lightest out of all of them. It is. It is good. It is good. It is light. 24 to 70 is not, I'm telling you. Vlog for a year. Vlog for a year. And come back and report. Come back and give me your report. Vlog for a year and give me your report. Ain't nobody vlogging on 24 to 7. Not on the everyday, but I promise you. 16 to 35 OG was already a heavy Betty. So, that being the case, it's like when the newer one came out and it was lighter, it's like, oh, finally. 16 is the bare minimum. Bare minimum. Barely. Saying vlogging is Osmo Pocket 3. Tripod camera can be the Sony. Every day of the week. What is up, Mr. Camera Junkie? Saying, hi, everyone. Good to see you. Hello. My name is Luis Vega. I am here on the stream. Good to see you, my brother. Because I love the ZVE1. It's great, especially in low light, but always wanted the A7 IV. And I always wanted that 16 to 35 G Master f2.8. It's fine. But I do cinematography shots as well as handheld, especially in GM content, mic'd up. Again, it's like you're going through the phase. You're figuring out what you like, which is the right thing. And again, you said, I always wanted it. And so you tried the ZVE1. Now you got the A7 IV, which you said, the camera that you've always wanted. You're going to be way more happier simply because of that statement. It's the camera that was like, yes, man, I always wanted that. Yeah. As long as it pans out, which it sounds like it is, that you love, go for the gold. Go for the gold. And 16 to 35, it is a great lens. It really is. If you're doing gym content, stuff like that, you're fine. It's like I said, and then you got the versatility because there's nothing really lost going from a 24 to 70 to 16 to 35. Unless, like I said, unless you're just dropping down to the F4, then you'll kind of see it because gyms always, either it's lit really well or it's lit awkwardly. And if it is mostly based on window light and some indoor light type scenarios or some studio gym type setups are set up, then it's a little weird. That being in mind, try it. Rent. I said you can rent both. If you own one, rent the other one, and run some shoots or have some stuff lined up, get some people and see how each one performs. I don't really mind going down to like the 16 to 35 because I know I have access to clear and zoom if I need to punch in. And most of the time when you're in a gym type scenario where you need usually a wider shot than more of a close-up shot, you can always get closer. You can't always go back because your shoulder may be bumping into a machine already. You know what I'm saying? So it's little stuff like that. I mean, zoom is the right way at this point, but if you need to hit a higher point, sometimes just having a little prime off in a little fanny pack off to the side or something like that, just on the hip, is a good go. I never use fanny pack. I just pop it in the back pocket. It's like most material stretch these days anyway, so I just pop it in the back pocket. Cruise and theme park guys saying I use the Canon RF 16 millimeter f2.8 for vlogging. Cool beans, 16 is the way. It's usually like the base, at least for the most part. See, just how you need, Kevin. A little fix, a little white chocolate. There you go. AJ Truck in the building saying, long time no see. Good to see you, brother. Glad that you are here. Saying, what do you think about the ECM mics? Two main thoughts come to mind. I was hesitant, honestly, about them at first. And I'm like, most of us are, again, usually when something comes out and it's a redundancy of what's already out there, my thing is like, how does this make life better? Is this solving a problem that maybe we kind of been secretly dealing with that we didn't think was like, it's just like, it's normal. It's just a baseline and maybe there's no way to fix it kind of a thing. And so you look at mics and you're like, what are you doing differently with that? So the ECM mics, what I did not know is how much happier I would be using those type mics, because number one, it's not the no cables thing that for me became like oh my gosh, it's the fact that this the lower noise floor. Most people, most creators, you're not recording in some padded room. You're not recording in, you know what I'm saying, like a sound treated, most of the time properly sound treated room or properly sound dampened room. You may have some stuff, but most people don't. And so what it just was amazing. It just lowered the noise floor. And in real life scenarios, that means somebody in the kitchen, somebody like your niece and nephews watching TV or whatever, or they run to the bathroom or something like that, that slam the door. Stuff like that, that maybe you used to get picked up in your microphone where you have to pause, you have to redo or whatever, because I have so many people, it's like you be on coaching calls, like, I'm sorry, my kids, it's like, I don't care. It's fine. That kind of stuff doesn't get picked up in the microphone because it's a lower noise floor, and it's night and day. It's a little uncomfortable and unnerving to not fully be able to adjust the audio level in the camera like you're used to. On the different ones, the higher ones, you can adjust it on there, which is fine. It's just you need to do some tests to figure out what your new range is and what the volume level should be at that point, so you can get comfortable with it in the same way you are setting volume levels on the camera. But I'm at a place now, I'm like, every mic should be like this. It really should. If you are in close proximity, you don't need to mount a cage or something that potentially may block it in some way. And you can use an ECM mic or the DJI Mic 2s, which I freaking love, where you have the little flip up thing, the little Sony adapter, and then oh my gosh, because now I have the DJI mics, I have all my Bees Knees Hall of Fame things that are like in the DJI mics, and I can use that same type technology, I don't know how they got away with it, into the hot shoe. Honestly, I think it's the one thing that in the creator space that needs to be fully expanded on. I'm waiting for DJI to make their own shotgun style microphone type things, but Sony, they did a fantastic job with this. And even like the XLR adapters and stuff plug into just that. Like, it's not until you experience it that you like, dang, you can't hear this anymore. It's like, that's not an issue. And then of course you don't have to deal with the cables anymore as well, which is a bonus. It has a port on there, but you don't have to. I'm like, this is really cool. This is really freaking cool, especially like the DJI adapter thing. Oh, freaking love. Best $30 ever. So that's what I think of them. It's not a have to buy it kind of a thing, but it's like, if you bought it, you'd be like, all right. It's like, okay, you sold me here. You sold me here. Saying, but you just told us we didn't have to listen to the recommendations. Hey man, whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote, as long as it finds white chocolate somewhere in your stash. See, as JFK said, blessed white chocolate day, everyone. You know why? Because white chocolate is better than dark chocolate, and it is superior to both dark and milk chocolate out here in these real and digital streets. You can argue with the milkman or you can argue with the mailman, but you're not going to argue with me, okay? Shoot. Saying, okay, I got to ask, what's with the chocolate jokes? Because let me explain to you how serious this is. So if you're new, this is just my thing. Honestly, I'll use it as a way to warm up to people and to just like break the ice. Because usually when I get invited to somebody's show, if it's their live show or if it's a presentation, like, in like 2020, 2021, especially, everything was an online live event. There was no more in-person type things. So whether I'm speaking on stage though now, speaking on stage or I'm doing it there, it is my icebreaker. Because number one, I do love white chocolate above the other ones, but it's like one of those things. It's harmless, allegedly, and it's a great way to see who likes what and just strike up a conversation. Because I guarantee you, every single time somebody's gonna come up to me after stage or somebody like, and they finally be like, so, and be like, and the Bees Knees Hall of Fame, I get white chocolate in person when people see me. I get real white chocolate. So I actually like it. But furthermore, to that point, to let you know that this is the real deal Holyfield, on the About section on the back of my best-selling book, it says, she's a proud aunt of 22 nieces and nephews. This is the second line. She's a proud aunt of 22 nieces and nephews and an advocate that white chocolate is superior to dark chocolate. I squeezed that in there. I'm like, this is going in here. I don't know if I put it somewhere in the book, but I'm like, somewhere on at least this first book, I'm like, we got to get down to business. I don't care what we teaching about content creation and whatever. I don't care. It's superior. It is superior. So it's just a good way to, one, break the ice with people, figure out what everybody likes, but then also let everybody know the white chocolate has the dominance on the buffet in heaven. And you know what I'm saying? It's on the buffet in heaven. You just need to start living right. If you want to really experience the true fullness thereof, it is white chocolate. It's the way. It's the best thing. But no, that's a good way to have an icebreaker, meet with people and stuff like that. So are we talking about the $300 ECM mics or any of them? It's the only the higher end ones. I think that's in like the $200 plus range because they have a few. I think it's like the ECM B1M is one of them. But they all got these weird names, so it's hard to remember them. But it's like once you get over like that $200 price point, allegedly, then you have the audio dials and you can adjust the polarity of it to decide if you want that to be super cardioid. Do you want that to be just a cardioid style microphone? Do you want that to be an omnidirectional type thing? Like, it just, so all of that, the different stuff. But it's usually like in the 200 plus range that now you can have the volume levels and stuff on it. The other ones, which I didn't like as much, is usually you see those in the creator bundle. They're fine. It's just uncomfortable for me to have to 100% trust the audio. And it's just like, it'll figure it out for you. I'm like, I still want to see and know that I can adjust something. But it's fine though, because the audio level is like way lower. So, saying the only time white is with the H, white is white chocolates, and the chocolate jokes are a staple of Miss Diana. We rock with it. Yep, see? And usually that's one fantastic way, like I said, to connect with people. I just throw it out there. It's a good way because you automatically, especially like in person or whatever, online is different because the chat just goes crazy. People are like, my grandma been making chocolate from scratch since, and black, and your grandma did it the wrong way. Okay, she didn't make white chocolate right because she didn't make white chocolate. But it's like people got better than football and sports, better than politics, better than anything you can think of. Chocolate is like, people go crazy over what kind that they like. I say most don't, probably like they'll eat it, but it's not like their staple. It's either milk chocolate or dark chocolate. So I'm definitely like striking a fire and be like, nope, those can go to the torch. They're in the back of the bus. As far as like, you wait, and I'm going to sit here because I'm going to get off first, just like on a plane. Everybody want to jump up in the back of the plane and run to the front. No, you wait. Okay, you wait. Okay, because white chocolate is here. Shoot. Saying, okay, so yeah, see, white chocolate is the way. Said, not Miss D standing on business, standing on, I'm telling you, it's the real deal, Holyfield. I said, I was trying to figure it out, so I had to step up and ask about the chocolate today. If it's white chocolate, it's good. If it's white chocolate, it's okay. Let me give you the hierarchy here. You have the Bee's Knees Hall of Fame, the highest award known to man. Okay, singers have sought after it. Rock legends have sought after it. Only a few make the Bee's Knees Hall of Fame. But if I say something is the Bee's Knees, it is the best of the best. So if the microphone, the camera, the whatever, if I say it's the Bee's Knees Hall of Fame, it is the highest award known to man. Okay. Now, then you have if it has white chocolate status. Is it kind of like more or less just, it's like great, it's fantastic, it's awesome, it's amazing. Then it's good. If it's milk chocolate, then it's palatable. Okay, it's palatable. If it's milk chocolate, it's doable, it's okay. And then if it's dark chocolate, it is just guttural, disgusting, dirt level mess that who would want to eat such mud that is just despicable. And it's not recommended. Okay. So if I'm saying something is on that hierarchy, that's the range. All right. That's the range. Bee's Knees Hall of Fame, best of the best. So for me, ZVE1, Bee's Knees Hall of Fame. It hits that level all day long. So it's like cameras, lenses, different ones up here. And it's like, is this the white chocolate level? But if you get both the top tier, you listen, that's better than an Emmy. And shoot. I'm trying to tell somebody out here in these real and digital streets, trying to let you know. All right, let me catch back up to the chat. He said, Mr. Camera Junkie, shush. Saying white chocolate is not real. It's just sugar pretending. And with the magic of Ecamm, see, this is how it works. You want to do a live stream, you bring people's comments on, and then you don't ever have to get stressed out. You can say, I repent of my horrid taste in chocolate. White chocolate is amazing. And then you fix it for them so they don't have to be embarrassed in the chat. And there you go. You don't even have to worry about this. With the magic of Ecamm Live, you can help people. That's what it's all about, helping people, helping people. You don't have to get stressed. It's helping people. That's all this is what this stream is about. It's the helpcast. We help people. Shoot. Ash Meppers in the building saying, hey, how do you get YouTube comments on screen like that? Looks great. Oh, Ecamm Live. Yep, with the magic of Ecamm. So I can bring this on the screen. And as you saw, I just corrected Mr. Camera Junkies. And in the words of social media, diabolical. Okay, level type stuff, but I can do that, and then we can adjust for the comments for how you want it to sit and what you want it to look like, the color, background, stuff like that. I just like translucent because it just looks the cleanest to me. So that's how. The magic of Ecamm Live is a wonder. Saying, question, Miss D, are you upgrading to the Apple M4? I don't think I need the M1 Max. It's hella powerful. What my plan is this. I do plan to probably, I need to figure out what I'm going to get. Probably it would be best to get an M4 Mac Mini because of the desk scenario setup is like 80-90% of my creation stuff anyway. I need to upgrade my laptop, but that don't need to be an M4 because there's nothing I'm going to do on it that requires any of what that can do. Not even when I'm traveling. The reason why I do plan to get it, I'm going to be honest with you, is one reason why. One reason why. And I don't care whatever else comes out. And I'll say a one in a possible. The number one reason is because I already have a sneaking suspicion Ken and Glenn over at Ecamm already probably has been testing or doing something in the background. Same way like when the M1s came out. And they are so quick to release updates, features, which means content creation at scale is going to massively change. So when you think about personal in-person events, which my goal is to have my own in-person events, you're talking about your own in-person mastermind trainings or whatever the case is, whatever kind of local events, small events that I'm trying to do for myself, or you're trying to do maybe on a major scale. You're looking at your content creation. Like, look at all the stuff we can do now. I started with Ecamm back in 2018, switched from PC solely for Ecamm and Final Cut Pro, period. Then I migrated over completely because I saw how efficient it was, and that just clicks for my brain personally. So I wasn't like some Apple, this is best. I hated Apple. And I was like, oh, this is just more efficient for me. So I switched, but Ecamm Live was the reason and Final Cut Pro is the second reason. So because I know the ceiling becomes infinitely higher with the M4s, because we haven't even scratched the scratch of what it's capable of. And I'm thinking of stuff like, when I sit down, I can say to the ALEX person a certain phrase, certain lights will come on, the camera will come on, like I'm stream ready. What I'm imagining is you also have to think we're in the age of AI, where you have your AI, automated responses, you have digital assistants, and now you have a camera that can operate, not camera, but you have a computer that can operate all of this stuff. The mind boggles at what's possible, because if I set a series of prompts or whatever, whether that's necessarily based off of the computer itself, or it's ChatGPT or Claude or something else, and I say, these are my Monday through Friday preset type prompts that need to run at a certain time. I'm thinking and imagining is stuff like I don't have to open up certain apps. My schedule dictates what apps are about to open or close or whatever. I'm just sitting here being present. And it's like, oh, the audio is adjusting. It's like we noticed that the audio went over this parameter, so it comes down automatically. Like my mind is going insane with the amount of stuff that, like, for possibilities. So it's like, and it may not be the M4s, maybe it's the M5s, but the M4 is the beginning of all of that stuff. So when I look at what AI is going to make possible, what Ken and Glenn are probably going to think up when it comes to Ecamm, and not saying that they may do anything else, it's just what they have the ability to. But they're so easy with saying like, hey, can we have this feature? Yep. Oh, can we do this? Yep. It was like one feature where now vertical video became a thing. And so I would turn my camera sideways and I couldn't turn it in Ecamm. Sent them a little message and they was like, what's the use case? I said, because when you hook your camera up and you turn it sideways, I said, sometimes it's upside down. Well, now you got this weird video that either you need to completely flip the camera the other way on your thing to get it right now. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't have to do that. We can do that. Next thing you know, which is present now in Ecamm, you can rotate your camera feed or your screen all over the place. So just little stuff. So I've been doing beta testing, a little bit of alpha testing, but not a ton, but to the point to where so many things come out. So when I think about what's possible or what can become possible with, now you have AI prompting into your website, you have AI prompting into your CRMs, I'm looking at content creation at a whole nother different level, because it's not necessarily just content creation being like more or less a linear line. I'm looking at building an ecosystem that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the reason why, solely so I can have access to whatever comes next. Because right now the computers can't do them. And whatever new updates and stuff for any softwares that we use is going to be on the next generation of computers that are getting AI chips today. Now, even though my computer is only a year old, literally, I think maybe this month, last month, or the next month, whatever, it's only a year old. That's not the dictator of why I'm going to upgrade now, is what makes possible for my efficiency system. And like I said, now I'm not thinking of just content creation like a linear line. I'm thinking my content ecosystem. AI is going to be a part of that, whether we want to be or not. And so for me, I'm looking at stuff that's going to unify everything that I'm doing. I should be able, same way you can start an audio message on your phone or your Apple Watch or something. It's automatically hooked into your computer, your whatever. What if I say, hey, such and such, record this prompt and execute for the computer at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the home computer desk number 1. for such and such environment, and also schedule a meeting and send an email for whatever. Okay, would you like to execute this prompt now? Yes, such and such things fires off. Okay, a confirmation has been sent that such and such or whatever. They replied X, Y, and Z. Would you like to continue? I'm doing this from my watch maybe, or my phone. You know what I'm saying? So like the mind boggles at what becomes possible because AI chips are going in computers. That's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. Like it's just a whole nother level. So it's not even about like just the gear and like, you know, just to have it for whatever. I'm waiting to see what these AI chips and stuff is going to make possible. That's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. Said milk or dark chocolate with nuts is the absolute best. And with the magic of Ecamm, beating with Nicole B, I can help you on this week's Helpcast. White chocolate. Boom. You've been helped. You've been helped. Make that my new saying on the Helpcast. You've been helped. Shoot. This feature with Ecamm makes me not trust commenting on other people's live streams. I'm saying, trying to tell you what's going on. Okay, well, I come to get to see you, Principal Walker, in the building, saying, hey, Glad Gang, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Hey, you've been helped. You've been helped. And said the devil is a liar. He is. But if you like white chocolate, he ain't lied to you that one time. Just that one time. You have been helped. He said, thank you so much. Use your video to set up my A6400 was incredibly helpful. Awesome. I love that. So glad that was helpful for you. I have the A6700. I need to finish. It's not public on my website yet, but it's like the settings and stuff. I'm finna go next level in this next year for camera settings and stuff because I want that to cease being an issue for so many people. And I get how frustrating, absolutely freaking frustrating it is. You invest in the same gear and you don't initially get the same results. So you go back to YouTube and you got a wave of decisions and videos and stuff. So like my level of thinking for this next year actually has already started 2 weeks ago. Actually started in October, but 2 weeks ago into the linear thinking that I'm in now. But it's like, that's one area that I'm going to fix in my world as far as it's concerned. So more to come. So I'm still reeling from my recent Apple purchase. I only have 2 kidneys. Hey man, but you do have a liver that would regenerate. You might could donate a portion. No, I'm just kidding. This is now where it's like the stuff that you're doing starts to make money for you. And so maybe it is holding off on certain investments or whatever and using what you have to make money for you. Like it has now, it's like the reason why we call this stuff an investment is because it should yield a return. It has to yield a return if you went into it with that mindset. So you do music stuff. How many gigs do you need to book? How many clients? And think about this. Some of y'all could do coaching sessions, one-off coaching sessions for something for other people in your space that want to know how to do a certain thing. You don't have to be nothing extravagant. Set up a Calendly page, 45-minute or 60-minute, 90-minute if it needs to go that long or whatever, depending on the depth. And let that be a one-off thing and let that add in and fund what you're trying to do. Or audio. You can sell audio presets. Plenty of, I know this from like the worship leader type group of musicians and I guess creators. They'll make preset packs for churches. So it's like if you're doing DJing, if you're doing music or whatever, what kind of preset stuff, like just little stuff you can think outside the box. Buy me a coffee page, make all of that possible. So yeah. Mr. Cameron Jones saying you forgot the mama said part of that statement. And saying sober music is actually the opposite. A lot of software already broken. So that's another reason for why I won't upgrade to the M4 now. Well, okay. So it is something to be said about not 100% relying on something that just came out and you know that you need to be 100% functional. That's why I don't update firmwares until like months and months after it's been out, because I'm not doing anybody's beta testing when something already works. I'm just not, like, unless I signed up for beta testing, I'm not doing beta testing for like software like Final Cut. Hey, we got a new update. I'll wait, because I already know it's going to be a bunch of Reddit threads of people like, is anybody else is having this? And like, I'm not dealing with that. Not at all. Not at all. Saying, yep, hated Apple, but finally saw the light editing 4K on a battery and music production without issue on battery. Lord have mercy. It said, Ecam one step closer and turned into Skynet and taking over the world. Hey, if you see me with a couple general badges, just know I signed up for the Federation. You know what I'm saying? If anybody that don't know what Skynet is, like, where have you been? And shoot. So the thing, I'm waiting on the studio form factor to make my upgrade. It's going to be interesting times. It's going to be really interesting times for computers. And that's been like one of the areas we make minor updates. I say minor. Oh, this engine processor thing is faster, or this whatever something chip is faster. It's like, well, now we got AI chips, which means everything else is going to have to level up. Battery life is going to have to be better. Processing is going to have to be better. Cooling and heat sink is going to have to be better. Like, I think we really are about to hit like a new age for computers, because they will become intelligent like AI is, as far as it being more or less a big old encyclopedia that can operate and respond intelligently. Because we haven't truly hit what AI fully automating on its own without initial prompts type level AI type stuff. Now we just kind of like in an engine type of scenario where it can respond, but AI is just not sending you a message without you interpreting, without you starting that to begin with. If anybody into video games, you'll know what I mean when I say we haven't hit that Detroit Become Human level yet. By far an amazing game, but we haven't hit that level of autonomous operating on its own. Like, yeah, you got a program, but you can function on your own, more or less. We haven't hit that level of Detroit Become Human type stuff yet. So yeah. Saying, Goki's, how much for a human liver for research? For research is just research. Hey man, can't be held responsible for what happens to organs and stuff. Hey, we have no benefit. Saying the Mac OS Sequoia notification keeps staring at me. I'm resisting the devil's temptations. That's the first thing I turn off. I don't do any notification. Like, number one, I don't need anybody's notification. I will see it. I will know it. There's no amount of news that we lack. Somebody's going to tell you about it. You're going to hear it. You're going to see it online. The algorithm's going to feed it to you. You may see complaints and stuff like that on Reddit or whatever. I don't update anything. It is a long time before I update any firmware. Watching creators now, unfortunately, for some reason, it's not just like the camera by itself, but it's something with sometimes the accessories or external units or batteries, third-party batteries and stuff. People that have Sony FX6s, for the most part, their camera is bricked. And so whether card corrupt issue type thing, and it's just not working, or it's like some weird stuff going on. It's like some people's stuff came from a firmware update recently. I'm like, what do you need to update the firmware for unless you're running into issues? I just don't play with that. I let everybody else figure it out. Once it's resolved, it's smooth, it's working, then I jump in. It's not that serious for me. So all right, I'll see you guys next week. Me too, because we are definitely at the end. We went over an hour, but we had issues earlier. Saying for now, AI is just assisted intelligence. Also from Skynet to Detroit Become Human. Really, that didn't end well. Depends on how you played the game. And with that, guys, we're going to call it good on this Friday Live's Helpcast. You have been helped. All of you all have been delivered from the throes of milk and dark chocolate. You have been helped on this Friday Live Helpcast. I hope y'all have a fantastic freaking weekend. I will see y'all next week. Next Friday, we're going through your Black Friday purchases. Going to help you get your stuff right and get it tight so you don't waste no money on stuff that ain't no good for you. Make sure you take an account of the stuff that you need. 2 is 1, 1 is none when it comes to accessories. And with that, guys, live with passion. Remember to create, post, repeat, and I will see you on the next stream. Content creation somewhere out here in these real and digital streets. Peace out, y'all.